Meanwhile, look at Tony in his wide open shirt. Did you see that?
Yes, I do. All I
Why,
see.
yeah. That's all.
I wanted to know what kind of pie that was so bad.
This episode is thin, isn't it? It makes you wonder what the pie was. And these trophies for something? Why would Amos have trophies?
I don't think they're first place. It doesn't feel like it has the twists and turns of like a great mystery story.
Yeah.
But it does have a driverless car.
And lots of shirtless Tony Holiday.
Hey,
Oh.
here we
Now,
are.
this is a monumental moment, Petrified,
Tell me more.
because this is the first official episode where it says,
Tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
yes!
It only took 7/8 episodes. We did it.
What's going on here? I get chased.
It all comes together. And folks, that's
You did
why
it,
we call it
Joe.
that. If you've been following along, you're like, why is it called that? It's because of that, obviously. Anyway, I'm Victor Devon.
I'm petrified.
And this is, in fact, tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote.
This is a good one, folks. This is bonkers.
Action packed.
We have Jessica careening towards a cliff in a
that
car
you can't drive.
that's driving itself.
What 7 episodes in, and we're really throwing some set pieces in there.
Yeah. Now, self-driving cars, as one of the characters points out, was a thing that had been tested like in the 70s. Now it's a real thing. People are like getting their Ubers by self-driving cars. This episode is not a strong defense of that.
I was just in San Francisco last week, and I took 3 Waymos. And I gotta say, they were the best rides I've had in a cab in a long time.
What was the experience like?
It's wild. You get into the car. First of all, you have to have the Waymo app. So you have to have an account with Waymo, and then you call a car, and then you have to like unlock the car with your app. So that's the first thing that's kind of crazy. You have to like approach the car and unlock it with your app so that it knows you're there. You get in, you say when you get settled in and you get your seatbelt on, you push start ride, and that bitch just drives to your destination. And you'd think that it would be kind of passive and like extra careful. In fact, it drives just like someone who knows how to drive. It's weird. It's assertive, defensive. It will speed up and pull ahead of people if necessary. It knows what it's doing. I have never felt safer driving in a cab, to be honest. At first we were like, we're taking our lives in our hands, but it turned out to be the way to ride.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what happens. as life continues to go in that direction.
Yeah. Really surprised. It was fun.
So this is Hit, Run, and Homicide. We see Jessica on her bike. There's a red scarf that, if you notice, when we see her from afar, it's to her left, just barely in view. And then in the next shot, it's around her waist in front for some reason. And then in the shot following, it's around her neck. Who can say?
Taking some stops. She's taking some stops. Okay, we get introduced immediately to this bloke of a character who annoys the fuck out of me the whole episode long. What's his name?
Legendary actor Van Johnson,
Sorry.
famous for dancing and kind of singing, but mostly dancing. He was like a Fred Astaire type.
Yeah.
And probably gay.
Oh, I hope.
He was famously probably closeted.
Look at those sweet eyes.
He's actually in several Murder She Wrote. He's in 3. This as different characters.
He's quite crotchety in this one.
Yeah, no, he's
Very
again
easily irritated, and sir, I have no time for that. I'm here to have a good time.
He's also, it's one of those occasions where he's kind of also a terrible actor in this. Like,
Yes, he is.
no disrespect to Van Johnson, the legend. Maybe it's the script, but the way that he says everything is so hokey pokey. Like, it's
That's what he.
Founders Day. Has it been a year already? Like,
Oh my gosh, he's such a boob.
uh-huh.
Like that, I can't think of any other way to say it. Van Johnson, the boob.
It's
true.
Founders Day.
How very Americana.
Uh, Now we get a quick view of Lois, who we saw in the first episode, and then nothing of
We're
Patty
also
Edwards.
we're panning the field right now. That's important.
Yeah, all this bunting. You gotta have bunting, otherwise it's not Americana.
Those tables are awfully close to the outfield of that baseball field. This is an accident waiting to happen. This is a
There's
live.
some spatial relation issues in this whole episode.
By the way, I would believe for a second that this was the same park that was in San Francisco, the golf club. Like it looks the same.
This is almost definitely in oh, what's I forget where they always filmed everything in. It's near me. But it's
Oh, okay.
but that we got a quick so we don't hear a lot about the history of Cabot Cove yet, but we haven't gotten to Joshua Peabody yet.
Hmm.
But apparently this Founders Day is very excited because it's where is it? Captain Wayne, who turned out to fight on the side of the British. And Lois says, "You can't let that get out." Like,
God forbid.
ah,
We're off to a
so
start here.
a rollicking start with a man in a suit running away from a sedan, a sensible sedan.
A nice brown station wagon. Yeah. We get a full license plate. We can run those plates if we need to.
Now, we're going to pause for a second because I want you to take a look at this baseball player's response to a car careening towards them, but not at them. So it's coming towards them. They're not in the direction of hit, and they leap towards it to
Toward
get
the
out of
car.
the way.
Toward the car.
Yes. Yes.
This. Okay, I gotta say, whoever was driving the
Spectacular.
car, very nefarious.
Oh, ouch. That's going to leave a mark.
Like fully aiming at a bench full of kids that are about to play baseball. Pretty wrong.
So we have this scumbag in a suit who is Woodley, we'll find out. He appears in multiple Murder, She Wrote as well, but this is his, I believe, his first appearance. Yeah, it must be, because we're still in season 1. And Claude Akins is telling Tom Bosley, Sheriff Tom Bosley, no one was driving the car. Mass hysteria.
Amos is so dumb in this episode. I'm not wrong, right?
No, he is, well, he very frequently wants to take the easy route when it comes to solving things, and that's part of the fun with him and Jessica. But he is a denier. Like he just doesn't want to admit anything and ever.
He's just lazy. He just wants to chill.
Let's just go home and be a priest.
Work, murder.
He called and invited me and my partner up to visit. My partner's doing the
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed, but the doctor said to this guy, "Well, there's nothing wrong with you, but if it still hurts, we'll take care of you until it's all better."
Some kid told me that there was a picnic going on.
Yeah. So he's claiming that his leg is broken or sprained or something is wrong, but nothing's really wrong.
You get a nice little clue right away.
Yeah.
And the first time I watched it, I remember thinking like, why would this dialogue be here if it weren't important?
You gotta take that in. They give you the clues, they give you the information. Some of it's stupid, and some of it won't actually pan out, but you gotta pay attention to it.
I was too busy running to notice anything.
So he's saying that he was here because Van Johnson, who we should probably call Daniel, but Van Johnson, told him to come to Cabot Cove. And then when he arrived, suddenly the station wagon started careening towards him, and well, we came in at that point.
And he could swear that nobody was driving that car.
No one was driving that car. Amos is so mad. He's like, son of a bitch, this now. June Allyson, another classic
Oh, wow.
actress who had starred multiple times with Van Johnson in movies in the 40s. I will always remember from her appearance, this is random, but with Charlie McCarthy, the puppet, and Edgar Bergen, the ventriloquist,
Ah,
they did the radio show, a ventriloquist on radio, because naturally. And she was in a movie called Words and Music, where the song Thou swell, thou pretty, thou sweet, thou grand, and it's sort of like medieval themed, and she sings it on that radio show. And I will always think of that in my head because I had that on tape as a child.
on tape. Oh, that's so charming.
Aw.
I had Janet Jackson on tape.
I had Janet Jackson on tape too.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
I am a gay of multiple influences, but I also had my Charlie McCarthy, June Allison radio show from the 40s.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're at Van Johnson's house.
We're at Van
And
Johnson.
we meet his lady friend, June Allison, and his son, what's his name? And his fiance, what's her name?
He's like kind of attractive and also looks terrifying.
It's that hair swoop, I think. He's also very forehead. There's a lot of forehead in this show.
The 80s were the time of the wow.
And we get this is also important. She keeps leaving because she's visiting, but she keeps having to go to Portland on these. The girlfriend, Leslie.
Yeah. The fiance.
The fiance, excuse me, the fiance
of this bloke who is, what's his name?
Van Johnson's son, who is audience. I know I promised you paid attention.
And I cannot find it.
Tony.
Tony with the tan.
Tony with the tan.
He is crispy.
He is 50? What did you say?
Crispy.
Crispy.
Like a chicken finger.
Oh.
Round. This June Allyson performance is, sorry, is that right, June?
June Allyson, yeah.
June Allyson, she's very charming in this. She doesn't really do much.
She's lovely. She did a number. She was never quite like a Judy Holliday or like a huge. I mean, she was famous because back in old Hollywood, if you were famous, you were famous.
Yeah.
But she wasn't like a glamour girl. She was like the wife in a lot of things. And she was in the musical version of that film, The Women, where it's the opposite sex or something like that, I think it was called. But she's in, again, there she goes acting like a wife again. She's in love with Van Johnson, and Van Johnson is none the wiser or isn't paying attention.
Yeah, this whole like pining storyline. After the last one, I'm like, another. Like,
I know.
Big woman pining for a man who doesn't notice her. Like, oh,
in more foundation than she's ever worn. Yeah,
I'm telling you, ladies, it just gets in the wrinkles.
A new douche in a suit has arrived, and we have this classic exchange with Claude Akins. He wants a taxi. Well, you have to go to the station. It's 2 miles that way. Well, you go walk that way. What if you call the cab? Well, the cabs are over at the station. That's 2 miles that way. What about the hospital? That's only a mile that way. Okay. First of all, Claude Akins.
You could get $2 for one. He's like, walk, suit.
And he's just there, like, cutting a net with an awl. Like, it's... Or tying it? Maybe he's retying the net.
And this guy in the suit, I don't even know his name. It's like
douche in a suit, number 2. Yeah.
Even though he's a critical part of this episode, but
he's just there to die.
That's it.
He's our Alison Brevard of this episode. He's our
Right.
He's just there to die.
I didn't even remember when you started the episode what he looked like. That's what a thankless role. He probably got benefits for the day.
You got craft services. Yeah, he's there to be
Also,
chased by the cars to prove, oh, we have proof. There's
but
no one in that front seat.
he's running up this hill and this car is behind him, not going that fast, by the way.
Doo, doo,
Instead of
doo.
going into, like going down the hill and going into the
Turning
tree,
to the left, maybe,
he goes into the side, which is a wall, essentially.
if he only could.
What is that decision?
If he only could make a deal with God, running up that hill, crash. Oh, yes. So they're from Boston. That's
Wow.
important too for some reason, because that's where Van Johnson started his career as an inventor. And now he's in Maine as a not disgraced, but sort of unsuccessful inventor.
Never really got off the ground.
Were they sure?
A little kooky.
Yeah,
Goofy.
little eccentric.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what is? He's Belle's father
I
in
was just
Beauty and
gonna
the
say
Beast,
that.
who ironically
The Kevin
is
Costner.
Tom Bosley, but in the Broadway show.
Now, Belle.
Oh, and we find out that Claude Akins is telling Jessica that Amos has a tell because whenever he doesn't really know what he's doing, he clears his throat, which he does throughout the episode, and now you can't not notice it.
I like how everybody around Jessica is like, Amos, he doesn't got this. You gotta come in.
You got to help him out. Don't make some suggestions.
Amos is a mush brain. You need to intervene.
Another boob.
Any ideas about who might be responsible?
Another boob.
Title of episode. Boobies, boobies, boobies.
And there again, so much bunting. They really go all out for Founders Day.
And also why he thinks that Daniel has said that he didn't invite him to Cabot
And this
Cove.
lobster house restaurant,
Just
which
looking
looks
at-
like a house. It's just a house.
I would eat there.
Well,
I hear he's into
that's
You-
fine. I'm happy for you.
You like lobster?
No,
No.
no. The closest I'll do is shrimp, and it has to basically be basically taste like butter or yeah,
Covered in
or like really seasoned.
Yeah.
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 Breaded, perhaps. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I've never been a seafood. I mean, actually, when I was a child, so I grew up in Connecticut. So there would be a couple of like New England dinners on occasion. I used to eat baked clams, and for some reason, I stopped, and I don't remember what it was. And then for a very long time, I wouldn't do anything but tuna fish.
Like from a can.
Yeah, yeah, albacore. Like I had to be like a bumblebee. But no, I don't. I'm not a fish eater. The husband is. I'm not a fish eater, and so therefore, he almost never eats it because I don't cook it.
Oh.
So I tell him I would, but it just didn't happen. Yeah.
I grew up landlocked, so we had terrible fish. And like kind of gross local lake fish. It was always yucky tasting. So
You'd like bog fish.
yeah, basically. Mountain dog.
Just shout out to Woodley's eyebrows.
A
Amos's eyebrows. This is a war of the eyebrows.
full contract.
This is the episode of foreheads and eyebrows. 24/7.
We could take a little clipper to that and just thin it out even.
He says he never invited you here. In fact,
The thing is, if you have eyebrows like that and you don't have any lower facial hair, what are you doing?
It is interesting because the you see the graying of them, and you know how some people's beards get grayer before their head hair does. It is interesting.
Living proof.
Visually. So essentially, Woodley is getting the point across that the driving car must be Van Johnson's because he remembers when Van Johnson made a car like that. So Van Johnson must be responsible for not only him getting whacked at the park, but that guy who ended up being his partner dead.
But what would a car like that be used for?
Also, these are very well done burgers.
I know, they're just the crispiest little patties, aren't they?
These are just the crispiest little patties.
Them burgers crunch. Okay.
Also, I've never been a burger bun on the grill kind of guy. I've never enjoyed a toasted burger in that fashion. There are some diners in Jersey that would demand that. I'm like, you're just taking stale bread and that's your way of
Kind of dull.
salvaging it.
I like a burger cooked on a stove, a hot stove top in butter.
Oh, goodness.
Now, Daniel,
Okay.
Mr. Woodley is still insisting that you called him
So
and
we're
invited him up here.
what are we doing? We're making like a backyard barbecue right now.
Yeah.
Tony is good looking. I'm gonna say it. Tony has caught my eye. I think he is.
Tony Holiday.
He is a QT.
Letitia?
Letitia. And this is also great. Letitia. Wait, hang on. Let's just soak in this line. This is just too good. Oh, I can't. Where is it? Where is it? It's coming.
All this talk about Woodley's giving me indigestion.
So cranky.
Cranky. There you go. Jessica's at home.
Letitia? I know it's confidential information, but you're going to have to trust me. I need to know those phone numbers.
Story of Letitia's life.
He's glad to see our confidential information is secure.
You only call me when you need confidential information. I thought we were friends, Jessica. Also, I don't know the timeline, but June Allyson has not changed her clothes once. So I don't really know. Like, I feel like days have passed, and yet she just has the same dark green smock dress shirt.
Has she not changed? Really?
Well, the skirt is different. But it's very similarly styled.
Maybe she's very poor and she doesn't have a lot to wear.
She's still in love with that failed inventor. He's not really showing her the high life.
She just pines and pines all day. She doesn't have time for laundry.
Now she's able to recall the phone number that Woodley and Van Johnson used to have. And when Jessica says this confidential phone number, I can prove that Woodley got called from this number. And June Allyson is saying, "Oh, that's the phone number that June Allyson has that Van Johnson has access to. He may have made that call. So someone at Van Johnson's house made that call to Woodley. Who could it be?"
By the way, I don't even think we said that Woodley is dead. Woodley got crushed by that car.
No. Woodley's alive. It's the other Bostonian that got killed.
No, I thought...
Douche number 2.
Oh, suit 2. That's right.
Yes.
That guy's dead. He's dead.
Suit number 1 is still in the hospital with a alleged hurt leg.
We're not keeping any secrets here.
Are you having trouble following Murder, She Wrote, Petrified?
No, I swear.
All these anonymous
you know what?
forehead guys.
The one thing that I cannot keep track of in all these episodes is how many characters there are.
There's a lot.
And you have to like get on board every time with a totally new cast of people, and you gotta be prepared to give your attention to commit to understanding these relationships and these family trees and all this shit.
Yeah, and that is how it always is, frankly. Even in a bottle episode where they're like just at the bus stop, there are a lot of people on that bus.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Oh God, I love that episode.
We're getting to that soon.
Tony Red
holding all those poles. I had that feathered hair. It was like that. That was a style. That was like that feathered, like Olympian hair, like like on a Wheaties box sort of hair.
Oh, it's yeah, like Olympian pole
yeah.
hair blowing in the wind.
You know, she's in a future episode, right?
Who?
Miss Jenner.
Yes,
she is. We will get to her very soon.
She's very good in it, if I remember.
No,
like really...
not an actor. She is not an actor. So Van Johnson's trying to get rid of aphids, so he creates this invention that requires 3 gigantic poles. that you stick in the ground to get rid of aphids. All it does is attract dogs. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so this guy, Dan Johnson, I just figured out who he reminds me of, and it's Mr. Dink from Nickelodeon's Doug.
That hopey mopey sort of.
Very offensive.
Oh.
Like nice kooky older man next door.
It's so funny because again, these episodes where we meet these characters just for this episode, and they all are hanging out for like a full week and a half.
Oh,
They are the only people that Jessica hangs out with, only ever sees, and then we'll never see them again for reasons. But whenever Jessica spends time with somebody for the length of an episode, they spend all of their time.
it's true. I think Jessica just has an obsessive disorder and she gets as much as she can take of folks and then she discards them forever.
She goes through phases.
Yeah. She love bombs you.
Well, because she knows that after a week and a half, someone's going to be going to be a killer or be killed. So she's tempered her expectations.
You can't get too close.
She can't
Not
get too
anymore.
close.
Not anymore.
She's not making that mistake again.
Uh-uh.
Meanwhile, look at Tony in his wide open shirt. Did you see that?
Yes, I do. That's all I see.
Why, yeah. That's all. They're just hanging out in the
He's literally
in
just having tea
the
and
parlor.
coffee with everybody, and his shirt is wide open. It makes no sense at all.
No.
Other than maybe the director was like, "Yeah, open that chest.
Let's just show you a little comfortable. Let's get a little bit more comfortable. Look at that. It's just that's so funny. That's so funny. It's such a change of pace of watching Golden Girls where they're all dressed up from their neck to their ankles. So,
Okay, so what's been happening? Basically, they decided that this car has not left town. It is somewhere around here, and we can find
actually,
it.
for a classic episode, not a lot has happened. Like this is a lot of fun to watch, but nothing has happened.
This is a slower burn. It picks up in a minute, though. It picks up in a
It
minute.
really does. It
For
really
one of the
does.
best set pieces of the series, I think. And he's
Two
being
parents from Boston to a tiny town they've never seen before.
right.
One of them is almost run down by a car, and the other one is actually run.
That's what's happened so far.
That's what we've done.
I just want to see more Tony. Let's
Actually, we get so in this episode, Amos has an office, which is interesting. He has like what is that right there? Do you see this like this
looks like a
wooden
deer
Loch
head.
Ness monster head or something on his shelf by these law books that he never looks at?
Yeah, he doesn't read that.
Or a duck? Maybe it's a
I don't
duck.
think
And these trophies for something? Why would Amos have trophies in his?
I don't think they're first place.
Oh, they're really more of a thanks for coming, Amos.
The participation award.
We're all really happy for you. There's another very clear Jessica stunt double for that bike back shot. Excuse me. Oh dear. That means something else in nomenclature. That's a stunt double for Jessica's back shot. Excuse me.
She is biking up and down. I don't know how she's not broken a sweat. She is biking up and down the hills of Maine.
Yeah, it's temperate. She's got her little sweater vest.
Okay, Jessica, we got to open up the discussion here because she's about to make a series of really dumb decisions, as far as I'm concerned. She is lured by a flashing light to a clearing in the woods, and voila, there's the car. Mind you, I don't see any bloodstains on the front of that car. So what happened to scene number 2?
Lured by a flashing light. Like that's how you get like deer. Like
that's what happened. And she's just like, okay.
Yeah, actually, not even a dent on that car. Not bloodstains be damned. Not even a dent. And I don't know if you've ever accidentally tapped a vehicle against anything solid, but those are not strong surfaces.
Like a fence. It ran through several fences. Okay, so she got in the car and then the door shut and locked and now is driving away.
This highly technical, highly implausible
Oh my God. Let's
device
break this down. It's a control panel that says
that has switches, just switches,
that's just four switches, maybe five.
on or off. No,
Yes.
no levels.
No. Ignition, shift, door, lock, brakes.
Do we have anything else?
That's how you learn how to drive a car, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it. Oh, wait, another one. Steering and
Oh.
on.
What do they think we are, plebeians?
But kind of. Because you know what? I'm not questioning this for a second. This is all this is a
Very,
documentary film all of a
very,
sudden.
very scientific.
And it requires another gigantic vehicle to follow it to make it do things. This is not very practical.
I mean, we had so many opportunities to look up this van, by the way.
It's huge and distinctive because
It's a
it has
big
that weird
black-
burgundy pattern.
It's a little bit like Morty's Electric.
These cars are huge. These are
Yeah.
fucking huge cars.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a little moment here.
She's just waving.
That Jessica Fletcher driving.
Okay, if you were in that car, would you just be like fussing about like touching the dashboard, or would you be
Kind
screaming
of.
bloody murder?
Oh, and with this moment with Claude Akins, which you could yeah, it's so great. It's so great.
Waving at people like, hey, it's me, I'm in this car.
Famously non-driving Jessica Fletcher. Famously does not have a license in this tiny little town where everyone knows her.
These cars are big. There she is.
Ah,
This like driving sequence goes on quite a long time.
it does.
I
Yeah.
think this is one of those things where they spent a
Kill
lot.
some time. Kill some time.
And again, this episode is thin on plot. So for an episode about a car that drives itself that murders people, it's pretty thin on plot.
That's gonna make the reel. Yeah, it's all and also like, weaving all over the road. Like,
Oh,
how do you
endangering
do
everybody.
this seamlessly? Like, it's just highly implausible. Highly implausible.
If I were in that car, I would probably have died already, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm not a hero. This beautiful landscape shots. Here we go. Some lovely come to Maine tourism moments.
We got the drone shot here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, again, through the fence, not a scratch on the car. The car's as shiny as it's ever been. Oh wait, we got a quick view of Jessica's stunt double there. Let me see. Hang on. I gotta get a montage shot of this for the pod of times it's definitely not Angela. Also, notice that this stunt double, she's driving that car.
She's driving. Yeah.
And those nails are nobody's.
That's like Fuchsia and Red had a baby, and that baby's name was Neon.
We're getting closer to the edge of the cliff.
I mean, I'm spellbound here watching to see what happens. I mean,
It's
what if it goes
hypnotic.
off the cliff and Jessica is dead?
Yeah.
What do
Episode
we-
7, suddenly,
What do
this
we
is
do
the end
for
of the
the rest of the
series.
series? I have to admit, this would be fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, no. No.
If the conceit of this whole episode weren't so ridiculous, this
Breaks.
would be a really serious scene.
Brakes have been turned on just in time.
Okay. So the other van is there. They know that the van is involved, right? But I don't think they even mention it until the last scene that, oh yeah, there was a van chasing us too.
This gives them the realization that that must be related,
Sure.
but they don't have an indication as to who is driving it,
Yeah.
how it functions.
Well, and if you did this and if you use this van to like chase Jessica and Claude,
Yeah.
wouldn't then bring that van to a picnic later.
No.
Right?
Well, and furthermore, now they have the station wagon.
Yeah.
So that van is utterly useless now. Like there's that the one purpose of that van was really to function, you know. It
Hmm.
it doesn't really hold water.
Hmm. So Amos thinks that it might be Van Johnson guilty. That's the whole setup, the whole episode.
He made the patent. He had
He
the
knows this thing. Oh, look at all these things he has. He designed it. He has these sketches. Amos is lazy.
Gonna bring him in for questioning.
Lazy. And we get cranky Van Johnson again. He is
He
wearing
must be he must be standing on something. He's very tall here.
I feel like he's wearing a lot of eye makeup too.
Yes,
He's wearing a lot of eye
he's
makeup.
wearing a lot of makeup. Van Johnson,
Hey Tony.
uh oh hey Tony.
Hey to the
In
folks.
your in a polo with a little J on it.
Little J. Green I don't think is your color, Tony. I think tight white is for you. Look at these big blue eyes.
Maybe try some mesh.
Or less.
Or less.
Okay.
And now
So
they found the original files and they match the other. It's not looking good
Daniel Van
for
Johnson,
Van Johnson.
he's going to the slammer.
And June Allyson is wearing a third fabulous necklace.
She looks great. Love this
So
blue
great.
on her. Ooh. She's so little.
She's a petite lady.
My little thing.
She's matching clogs. Very nice.
She has a lot of clogs.
So you gotta have your clogs in.
Okay. Leslie has shown
Comes
up. What's
running
happening?
in with
What's
this
happened?
sweater very fussily strewn across her.
Okay. I know it's probably not, but that looks like David Tolliver's sweater from the last episode.
Now we have this moment between Tony and Leslie that really is sort of incongruous to the rest of the episode because it doesn't involve Jessica in any fashion.
Yeah. These are
We
fighting.
oh
Oh, but I'm
oh
okay.
we
Go
do
on.
get we
Go
get
on.
a little Tony little shirtless moment here
Pretty modest.
through the mirror. Like they were like,
Look,
"Hello, Matt and I, Idol."
filmmaking.
Oh, and again, he buttons it right under the pecs. Like he is still showing as much of his chest as possible.
He knows what he's doing.
You know, he knows what he's doing. He's making choices. He's doing things.
Every move.
Edward Albert, where are you now? Oh, he's no longer with us.
Oh,
Let me see. Edward Albert died in 2006.
quite a while ago.
Indeed.
Okay.
He was Eddie. Oh, he's the son of a famous person as well.
Oh, really?
He's son of Eddie Albert, who was a radio and film star. He was in Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, okay.
And he was in Green Acres. He was also in Green Acres.
Okay. So we're learning a little bit about these characters, and none of it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, because you know what it is it's patent
It's
and
like, yeah,
inventor shit. Like none of this is
somebody,
that's not exciting. Give us back the car that's driving by itself.
yeah,
Come on.
I want
We don't need
another
to know
scene.
how it works.
Let's threaten the lives of some more kids at the baseball diamond here.
Have them run into the
Really make them run around. So Daniel's in jail now, and Jessica, as she oft is visiting her friends in jail.
oh, and we have this very aged well line right here.
I keep wondering somehow if I could have done it and not remember. Maybe I'm a schizoid. Jekyll and Hyde.
Uh-huh. Maybe it's mental illness.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Well, Okay, now I remember why that scene with Leslie and Tony was even there in the first place. And it's sort of because Leslie incepts the idea to Tony that Uncle Daniel Van Johnson is kind of losing his mind.
Which we kind of knew already.
Yeah,
We kind of
he
suspected.
is. He's lost it already. It's no longer there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is so some of these episodes are really complicated. This one is just simply not.
It just doesn't get
It doesn't feel like it has the twists and turns of like a great mystery story,
yeah,
but it does have a driverless car.
and lots of shirtless Tony Holiday.
There he is
Here
again,
he is back. He's back again
wearing white, my favorite on him.
with no undershirt. You can see
Oh.
the curvature of his back.
He's actually
See,
kind of scrawny, but
he's broad. He's sort of V-shaped. He has
sure.
shoulders
Just
and then it
over.
tapers in. Yeah.
This is what this episode is going to be about.
That's we do what we can.
So they're insisting that Daniel is not crazy.
I buy it.
What are you driving around for?
He's taking her back home because he saw her and she has a busted tire. It's really just again so that they can chat and so she can get into his glove compartment. Hey.
Oh, the glove compartment thing.
Yeah. It
That's
blows the whole thing out of the water.
yeah. Now we get some traction. Now we get some action.
Just a little bit.
Well, because the show is pretty good at signaling like who's a good guy, and I feel like he's the nice young person who is like her ally in the episode, right?
Right. Which could sometimes bitten her back in the face.
Sure.
Sometimes it's that person that ends up being the killer.
Yeah.
But so far, no one is outwardly awful.
No.
Even Leslie, who seems to be doing like the lightest bit of Lady Macbeth
Yeah.
on him, isn't awful outwardly.
No.
We don't even really have any motivation for us to think that she's doing that for gain.
We know so little about her in general.
Right.
Only that
$7 a gas.
wow.
Yeah, which at that point probably still meant like 2 or 3 gallons.
Sure. I'm sure I remember when I was in high school, gas cost like 129 a gallon. That's I mean, that was low probably then, but that's crazy.
But it should have been more because this car was used to go to Portland, and Leslie was supposed to go to Portland, and Jessica, quote quote, going for a tissue using the glove compartment, finds the rental agreement, which of course she knew was in there, which has the mileage, which of course means that Leslie never went to Portland.
What if it hadn't been there?
Well, what then?
Then we just have to look at Tony a little bit more.
Look at it again. That shirt. He just doesn't want to use the top 4 buttons.
Oh. Well, he's got to get a nice. He doesn't want lines. He doesn't want lines there.
That's one lines
Very
thing.
practical.
Uh,
Okay, now we're back in Daniel's lab. Okay, what is this quintessential 80s science lab?
wow.
What is this
It's
Willy Wonka
Doc Brown
vector
war
gas
games. Like
thing?
yeah, there's a lot going on there. There's some sort of like air conditioner that they're pretending is a machine of some variety, like a power conductor. There's this kind of
Well,
looks like a plunger.
I was gonna say it looks like something else. Uh,
Does it? Oh, a butt plug?
it
It
looks like
does
a
kind of look
plug
like
of
a butt
sorts.
plug.
Yeah,
It does look like a butt plug. You can say butt plug. It's our podcast.
we got some LEDs in the back because you know,
Incongruous blueprints,
yeah. None
just
of these
there.
things seem to be related to each other, by the way. Not a one thing.
No, I'm pretty sure these are tape decks, like this right here.
And
Ooh, it spins. There we go. That's scientific.
that looks like a piece of a satellite.
It's again probably an air conditioner. It really probably. I think it's a fan. He's giving up inventing because
It's just got him into trouble.
He might be a Jekyll and Hyde.
And now they're going somewhere, right? He's
I,
going to a mental hospital, I think.
yeah, he's gonna get checked
Brain dead.
out.
And they're not going
Oh,
to be.
June Allyson, be strong. Be strong, June Allyson.
Don't let that necklace weigh your neck down.
Oh my God, it's just it's as long as she is. All right. So we're at our climax. We've got 8 minutes left. Jessica still doesn't have a glimmer of a I've got it.
No
But
clues.
we're at the
Are
location of when it finally happens. And it
okay.
happens in an unexpected way.
This is so weird. Like
At the local supermarket,
it's
she
a read.
hears the arcade game Roadhog.
Ugh. As if the episode weren't thin enough, this is what gives her the inspiration to solve the crime.
Carrots, fresh,
I hate it.
3 pounds.
So we got Ethan
Also, wait, just a note, all of these books that are upside down.
upside down. Why? Why are they upside
I
down?
guess because they needed set dressing, but they didn't want to indicate what they actually were.
Probably.
PMS. It says PMS. This is a book about PMS.
All right.
Something for our time.
Wing wings eagles, wings of eagles.
I'll screen grab it and I'll turn it upside down. We'll put it on the pod. Well,
Oh,
yes, folks,
yeah.
actually, if you're not, we haven't actually said this yet. Folks, if you're listening, go to your Instagram app and type in Murder She Wrote Pod, Pod, and you'll see little screen grabs, little video, little moments of the episodes that we talk about
Yeah.
as little supplement material.
Yeah.
Do that.
Oh, looks fun, she says to this
Looks fun.
racing game.
Yeah, those are
Wow.
definitely Claude Akins' hands. Uh-huh.
He had a little bit of Liesl's potion just in the hand.
Just on the those hands are
Oh,
20.
no,
Those
thank you.
are those are what's his names? Those are Tony's.
Right? Ooh, Tony. Okay.
Tony on the joystick. Now, to be fair, when you went shopping in the little corner stores or the little supermarkets or even the ShopRites with your parent, would you go right for the arcade game and play something like Street Fighter or what have
Never.
you?
Never.
Never.
Never. We never did anything like that. We never went to arcades. Um, it was just not part of how we grew up. We
Well,
had,
sometimes they would just be like in locations like this where
yeah.
they were like little supplement money for the store.
By the way, can we talk about the way this is shot as if you are looking out at Ethan and Jessica from the video game? It's very like Wreck-It Ralph,
It's so good.
right?
And then I
I
got
got
it.
it. She literally
You just
says, I've got it.
you just wiped out 2 deer and a motorcycle.
Eureka!
Uh,
And Ethan is very invested in that video.
very invested
Too
in
much.
Roadhog. Uh,
Right.
so we're back at the park.
By the way, they didn't park their fucking car.
No.
They just left it in the middle of, it's just in the middle behind other cars. Rude.
I also love people are just talking. Like June Allison and Angela are just gesturing and chatting. What are they talking about? What's they're sharing MGM stories right now. That's what's happening. They're like, Danny Kaye, what a slut.
June's like, thanks for the cred.
Oh, and we have this little undershirt moment. Like this is a little this long john shirt that
Me,
Tony's
and it's
wearing.
tight too. It's tight. So wait a minute. I gotta know who drove that there in that moment.
Claude Akins has the device.
But the van? Who drove the van
Oh,
there?
I don't know.
Leslie and Tony were out here, so it must have been our friend Mr. Woodley, right? It must.
No, Woodley's right there. He has got the
So where the
he's
who?
being attacked to
Maybe
prove that he's not actually injured.
Yeah.
So he's running at full speed. Everyone's watching, waiting for him to get splattered.
And Jessica has a knowing look on her face.
What if Leslie hadn't like
I
hadn't
let
taken
him
the
have
bait?
it, right?
Oh, Ethan has it somehow. Ethan has it. Oh, I know why Ethan has it. Because what Van Johnson probably had a version of
Right.
it. It's all coming to babe.
Of course. Wow, they really
I
came around
have,
for us this time. And
and then
then
here she is,
uh,
passive aggressively interrogating Leslie. What made you do that? Oh, I bet you did that. Oh, really?
for the listener, Leslie ran over to this mysterious van that happened to pull up again, and no one said, "That's the fucking van. Let's go get that van." Um, a lot of holes
Seven
when
Ups.
people investigate these things.
Well, I mean, again, our law man is Sheriff Tupper. This is what you get. What
So
is this
Jessica
about,
is calling
Jessica?
her out. This lied. She hasn't been going to Portland because the mileage in her car hadn't
Doesn't match up.
on the rental car.
Oh, let's see. Let's take a look at this document while we're here.
Very efficient.
Uh, New England car rental.
Okay.
Leslie
And
Andler? Andler. 454 Orchard Drive, Cabot Cove. Does not even say Maine. Does not say zip code, but her number is 555-8211. Purchase order, date of birth,
50,
10
10, 15,
15
54.
54.
Libra. Okay. Can't trust those Libras
So she's almost 40? Wow.
at
All
this.
right, Leslie. Well, moisturize. Good job.
She got Tony.
Mm, uh, let's see. Time in 8:45. Air license. Yeah. Yeah, it looks. Oh, and this expires till on 87. So that's when her license expires. So, but I have
I,
a feeling she's going to miss that appointment.
I think so.
So, in short,
Doesn't she?
Leslie must have been the one with Woodley who was never called. Leslie and Woodley are in on it. And they were going to entrap Van Johnson to get his patents and to have him declared insane. Because if they killed him, all of his inventions would just go to his heir. They wanted it. So they needed to make sure he was mentis and competentitus.
Uh, and
It's all the
she
British tapestry.
she was marrying Tony so she could control Tony. Oh,
Yep.
um,
Also, this is a very casual dinner, but the men are dressed to the
hey,
nines.
look, Jessica is wearing the same thing she was wearing in the park. Good for her.
June Allison's wearing a sensible like denim blouse. Van Johnson looks like he's ready to go to the Copa. Like he has a pocket square.
By the way, like, how many times do they do these sort of elaborate setups to get their killer to confess? I don't think that's something that's even allowed in actual life, right? You can't do
Well,
shit.
you'll also notice that Amos had nothing to do with that. He didn't interrogate the witness. He didn't get her to confess. He didn't control the car to get her. He was just standing there while two civilians did all of this.
Figure did his job for him. Amos Tupper.
And once again, simple greed is the reason, which actually comes up a lot.
I
The motivation is very often, as Jessica puts it, simple greed.
want the money and the power. Um, and because this was such a thin episode, there's even time for a wrap-up scene.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, deconstructing it, yes, it is awfully, awfully, awfully thin. But I was, when watching it, I don't know if I really think about it. Oh, but we have another necklace.
Oh,
Go to the pod to see all of June Allison's necklaces.
she looks good.
She
Although the haircut is it's very
she's not seen a polished stone she hasn't liked. Look at that. Come on. That is Midwestern gloriousness.
she
And
must.
he finally admits he loves her. Great.
So, so Jessica and Ethan are like, let's get out of here. Um, smooth. I don't really know what she sees in him.
Well, you know, they
They could share eye makeup.
Exactly. That's the saving grace. That's some Lancome love right there.
Oh,
And they had the opportunity to get rid of him because we never see him again as this character, where they could have him move in with her and move away. But no, instead she's gonna move in and stay in Cabot Cove, and we'll never see any of them again.
was there like
Okay.
some plot point where they were supposed to like move, where she was supposed to move somewhere, move away? I must have
She's
missed.
visiting. She was visiting from Boston, yeah, or from wherever.
Got it.
But he wants to stay. He wants to
Oh,
stay.
they do say that your visitor. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Angela, I'm sorry, Jessica brings her a pie. Like there's a whole like welcome to the neighborhood.
I wanted to know what kind of pie that was so bad.
This episode is thin, isn't it? It makes you wonder what the pie was. And the final cap on the episode is that Claude Akins is running away from dinner to go play the game because there's a championship. And Jessica says, I'll join you. I've been practicing.
I'm sure she has.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's gonna beat him at Roadhog.
She's gonna grab that joystick and show him who's boss.
Exactly. And where's Tony? Roadhogging somewhere else.
Oh, in a tight red shirt. You saw a lot of nipple in that red shirt, you have to admit.
We saw just about as much as Lila in the previous
I was
episode.
gonna say, Lila and Tony are two beauties meant for each other.
Indeed. If only time had allowed them
Hmm.
such grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the card that drives itself episode.
What a hoot, right?
It's bonkers, naturally. As many of the early episodes are. It has a gimmick and it runs with it.
They, I used to think that the earlier episodes were really much more sort of grounded and realistic. No, no, no,
No, in our
not
first
at all.
episodes, we have heterosexual drag queens, a movie producer that gets killed by a diabetic, a dog who is trained to decapitate an heiress,
That's right.
and a car that drives itself. This is tonight on Murder She Wrote.
You know, I think it's fun because we just watched the other one, the Love and Other Killers,
Yeah,
which actually felt like a pretty grounded episode. It felt kind of
serious,
tangible
a
and scary.
serious episode.
It was dangerous. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
Jessica was trapped in a car that was hurtling toward the sea, but that didn't feel as dangerous as the last episode. This was more sort of hokey fun.
Yeah. And I guess like you need that. I mean, as a cozy mystery, obviously the it's not going to be necessarily as heavy. There are certainly some heavy episodes, but even like Hooray for Homicide, the movie one, it ends with the killer confessing and crying. Like it's not a
Yeah.
happy ending. Um I don't remember off the top of my head how Deadly Lady ends, the hurricane one immediately.
It's the one where Jessica is sitting in her parlor in the dark and
Right, and gets her to confess
yeah,
about the pink pump.
with
But
the
even that, I don't even
phone
know if that
number.
has like a fun cap on the episode. Like
So, it's
even
sad.
the murder of Sherlock Holmes, which is sad at the end, has that funny little the wrestler drowned in the ring, like little moment. Like this show is emotional whiplash.
Sure is.
Yeah. So
What's
we
Jessica's
say again?
What's Jessica's birthday? What's her sign?
I don't know if we actually ever know. Let's see. Jessica
She seems
Fletcher.
pretty mutable here.
I don't think there's ever a Jessica birthday episode. Uh, oh, interesting. March 17th.
Oh,
She's a
she's
Pisces.
a Pisces, so yep, mutable and wise.
No one ever wait, hang on. How do we know this? According to neoencyclopedia.fansomething.com, uh, I need to know this now because now that we've opened this door, let's find out together. Jessica's birthday. So,
Oh,
according to neoencyclopedia.fandom.com, Jessica receives a birthday cake from her friend earlier in the day. What episode? Season 8. Oh, we have some time. Yeah. But it never mentions the exact date of her birth. It is alluded to several times in season two. She says she's a Pisces the last time I looked. And then further gets around on March 15th. Yeah. Tuesday, March 17th, 1992 is St. Patrick's Day, and St. Patrick's Day is the astrological sign of Pisces, sorry. However, there is some difficulty with this conclusion as no one in this episode wishes anyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. Well done, Neo Encyclopedia. Well done.
They're thinking
Yeah.
about the minutia
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really what we got.
in God's
We're,
work.
we are obsessing about a series that ended 2 decades ago.
Oh.
Ah,
Can't imagine a better thing to do with my time, honestly.
I mean, this is what we do. So yeah, that was Hit, Run, and Homicide, and that is the second episode with the name Homicide in the title.
Hooray for homicide.
And our next episode is basically the Disney World episode, where she goes and yet another inventor, another gadgeteer, but more Golden Girls guests in common.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We see Rose's daughter.
I think the guy in the tycoon, the theme park tycoon, is pretty miserable, right? He's like a pretty miserable guy.
Yes, he is. It's one of those who wouldn't have done it
Right.
storylines. Yeah.
I like those.
Good times. Good times. Good times had by all.
Ready, Jessica. Right.
Figure it out.
Did she have a love interest this last episode? I don't think she did.
Tolliver. This past episode, she was flirting with Claude Akins, her hometown honey.
Or like friend with benefits.
Yeah. He cleans he fixes her sink sometimes. Yeah, and then Gerard, there was nothing. Tolliver, there was the dog's life. Yeah, so it's been a little bit because there was a little flirtation with who was it? There was somebody that she was. Oh no, I was gonna say she was flirting with the guy who went fox hunting, but no, he was involved with Lynn Redgrave. Yeah, no, she's been keeping it to herself a little bit.
She gotta call David Tolliver. That's what she gotta do.
She stays to herself for a little bit. We got some time.
Look at all these such good stuff coming up. Okay.
All right. Well, that was it. So I'm Victor Devon.
I'm petrified.
And this was tonight.
Night on
Murder, She Wrote. Drive safely.